All right, so hopefully now you have written down at least a couple really strong limiting beliefs, right? We all have them. There's no shame in this. Please don't heap judgment on top of yourself. This is a discovery here, so we can find something that's working with you, like a thorn or a splinter that we're going to take out. So, identifying and highlighting what's not working is imperative in order to shift it so it can work. So again, hopefully you have a list now of some limiting beliefs. Really beliefs that keep you, like I said, stuck and small, stagnant in the same place, the status quo of your life. And for step 2, what we're going to be doing here is we're really looking at the evidence that the mind brings up to confirm the belief system, right? So in this case, the one that you've chosen to work with for the rest of the steps, the mind is always looking for evidence to confirm. Always, always, always. So it just gathers evidence, and this happens subconsciously all day long. And the biggest evidence that it gathers most of the time is the internal narrative in our head, the way that we talk to ourselves with usually a very high level of judgment. Our subconscious listens to this inner narrative all day long, and all day long we are unknowingly cementing these limited beliefs. Just incredibly much through these things. So I want you to take for step 2, really getting at what behaviors are tied to this limited belief. We're going to do a couple of reflections questions. And what I'd like you to do is either, pause the video or just take a couple minutes to write down. And what I'd like to do is take an example. So say this, for example, is my limited belief that it's impossible for me to step out and become an entrepreneur. And some belief systems that are tied to the behavior, my lack of ability or action to step out might be, I have a family to support. It's too big of a risk. I don't have the resources, or I don't know where to start. Right? So these are some beliefs that are tied to this, right? Because often, limited beliefs are not, solitary. There's usually like a tapestry or scaffolding of limited beliefs, interwoven together. So often when you have like a really deep thorn, then you will often find other limited beliefs attached to it. So any other limited beliefs you can find, any other information that your mind can point to. So a good way to do that is to tell your mind with your limited belief, hey, I can become an entrepreneur. I absolutely 100% can shift my life and step into action and become a successful entrepreneur. And then listen to your mind. The mind will say, well, no, you can't. That's not true. Because reasons X, Y, and Z, and that X, Y, and Z is what I want you to write down. So in relation to the belief system that you selected, I want you to reflect on the following. What evidence does your mind offer to support the limited belief? Do you notice any other belief systems tied to this? And what past experiences have shaped this belief system? And that third question is really, really important because, our younger, like early years are kind of what we call our core conditioning, really, really structured the way that we think, feel, behave, and act. And you will find often with limited belief systems, and there is a lot of historical data around those belief systems that cement it, whether it's, for example, getting back to my entrepreneurial example, perhaps my dad was an entrepreneur and failed, and therefore I'm convinced that I will fail too. There's lots of historical data. So go back to your childhood and begin to kind of weave through that and to see, what can I pick up that might be attached to this belief system or that might be evidence to support it, all right? Because what we're really looking to do is, in order, again, to kind of use the same analogy like a splinter or a thorn, when we want to take it out, we have to take out all of it. We cannot just take out a piece of it. We have to have all of it come out so we can then begin to engage in a new belief system. So it's really, really important that just take a couple minutes and engage with yourself and reflect with these questions for step 2. Really, what behaviors and belief systems support my limited belief that you've chosen? And then we're on to step 3.